Some of the world's most well-known athletes also happen to be among the world's most hated.
The best men's tennis player in the world has been caught up in a legal battle in Australia.
Some athletes get hated on simply because they're too good, but it's also easy to attract haters. When you say or do some dumb, even criminal stuff outside of your professional playing career. With that all said, let's get to know 15 of the world's most hated active athletes. DeSean Watson. Watson missed the entire 2021 season as he dealt with misconduct allegations and lawsuits. It didn't stop the Cleveland Browns from trading for the disgruntled Houston Texans quarterback, who subsequently received a guaranteed 5-year pact worth $230 million. The problem with Watson is that he apologized to the women who were affected by the allegations, but yet he kept emphasizing that he was innocent. The fact Watson only got an 11-game suspension for the allegedly heinous crimes was disturbing enough. But how about the Browns, who simply overlooked all of those serious accusations and gave him the largest guaranteed contract in NFL history? That's the NFL for you. Phil Mickelson. Sadly, all it took was money for Phil Mickelson to destroy his own legacy. Lefty was among the most beloved golfers during his tenure on the PGA Tour. Mickelson won 6 majors, including the 2004, 2006, and 2010 Masters tournaments. His humor, outgoing personality, humbleness, and unique style of play really made Mickelson a great ambassador for the game. But in February 2022, Mickelson enraged many when he essentially stated that he was overlooking the human rights violations in Saudi Arabia in order to gain leverage through LIV Golf against the PGA. Sure enough, Mickelson signed a deal with the Saudi LIV Golf League. The contract was reportedly worth $200 million. Lefty just couldn't stay committed to the tour that made him a legend. Instead, he chose to follow the green. No pun intended. Hey, if money's more important to you, Phil, then you do you. Novak Djokovic. There was a time where you could only really hate him if you were a die-hard fan of Rafael Nadal or Roger Federer. But the tennis icon really showed his ugly side during the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, he tested positive for COVID-19, but he didn't garner a whole lot of sympathy since he threw a party which lacked proper restrictions at the time. And who could forget his I'm above the law stuff when he tried fighting with the Australian government over their COVID-19 vaccine restrictions. Not getting the vaccine was his choice, but to make the Australian Open all about him when he was the one who didn't want to meet the requirements. His arrogant "it's all about me" attitude was just too much for the people to deal with. Tom Brady. Like every other athlete on this list, Brady is somebody that you truly love or hate. Do you love him for being a great underdog story who pieced together the greatest career in NFL history, or do you hate him for, well, constantly beating up your favorite team and for being the centerpiece of that always controversial New England Patriots dynasty? Brady's alleged involvement in Deflategate was easy fuel for the haters, throwing the tuck roll game and how much he revolutionized the roughing the passer rules.
Oh, there is a flag.
Defense number 95.
Right there, he slaps, and right where? Looks right where?
And it's easy to see why fans outside of Foxborough and Tampa have come to dislike him. Getting the golden treatment and the constant benefit of the doubt from officials can be exhausting if he's not on your team after all. Kevin Durant. For as talented as Kevin Durant is, he has sure made headlines throughout his playing career for all the wrong reasons. For starters, why can't he just choose a long-term home and be happy there? Durant ruined the NBA for 3 years when he ditched the Oklahoma City Thunder for the Golden State Warriors, who are coming off a record 73-win season and a second consecutive trip to the NBA Finals. It was a snake move in more ways than one. Durant went with the old "if you can't beat him, join him" mentality. Even playing for the virtually indestructible Warriors wasn't enough for KD though. One locker room fight with Draymond Green early in the 2018-19 season was the final straw for Durant, who left the Dubs later that season. KD and Kyrie Irving teamed up and joined the Brooklyn Nets, but after another early playoff elimination in 2022, Durant threw a tantrum and demanded the Nets trade him. 2 months later, he went back on his word and committed to the organization for 2022. That's a lot of drama for one player's career. Throw in his silly, immature fights with fans on social media, and it's almost as if KD is trying to make us hate him. Tom Wilson. If the NHL cared about player safety, Tom Wilson would probably be out of the league by now. But no, the imposing Washington Capitals winger just gets a slap on the wrist or a short-term suspension, and then an invitation to hit the ice again. And then he delivers another suspension-worthy cheap shot to another player. And on it goes. Wilson went from a pest to a quality 20-goal man and top 6 winger in DC. So it's too bad he can't just focus more on playing hockey and less on injuring people. Neymar. Neymar just so happens to be one of the most universally known and marketed athletes. As such, you're bound to attract far more fans, but also far more haters than most. Neymar has been fine off the pitch, but he too often acts like a diva me-first teammate. He also may as well audition for the Oscars because of how often he dives and fakes injuries. And we'll say it again, constant winning naturally makes you hated by countless others, but don't expect him to stop just to gain some extra fans. Draymond Green. Unless a guy like Green is on your team, it's easy to dislike a physical, in-your-face NBA star who has the ability to back up his trash talk. It doesn't help that the future Hall of Famer plays on a stacked Golden State Warriors squad that won NBA championships in 2015, 17, 18, and 2022. While opponents are busy figuring out Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, Green is always riling up the opposition with his feisty defensive play. Love him or hate him, the man is a magician with his trash talking, and it's easy to resent a guy who owns you time and time again, both with his play and with his words. But a guy like Green also embraces the hate. The Boston Celtics and their fans learned this the hard way during the 2022 NBA Finals. Patrick Reed, even before he followed Phil Mickelson and others by ditching the PGA Tour to sell out for LIV Golf. Reed was arguably the most disliked golfer in the world. Let's just say the guy made his own bed. Golf is a game that emphasizes class, sportsmanship, and humbleness. But Reed has been caught breaking the rules during PGA events. Yet he always plays the victim card. He cut ties with his family and even had security kick his own parents out of the 2014 US Open. Yikes. And who can forget the instance in 2018, where he took to Instagram to whine about the tickets he got to a Boston Red Sox game from the PGA Tour, or the time where he filed a defamation lawsuit against the Golf Channel in August 2022. He's a narcissist, arrogant, loudmouthed, me-first person. But according to Reed, he's always the victim. Enjoy LIV Golf, because the PGA and its fans will miss you. Evander Kane. While Tom Wilson is strictly a problem on the ice, Kane is one NHL player who has garnered most of his hate from what he's done away from the arena. It's no wonder Kane was jettisoned out of 3 organizations, despite his all-star level talents. The Winnipeg Jets, Buffalo Sabres, and San Jose Sharks all couldn't wait to get rid of him. Kane has faced numerous allegations for off-the-ice misconduct and violence, including against his ex-wife. She even alleged that Kane bet on NHL games, though the league couldn't confirm this. During the 2021-22 season, Kane was hit with a 21-game suspension for using a fake COVID-19 vaccine card, which led to the Sharks severing ties with him. Kane also committed a vicious hit on Nazem Kadri during the 2022 Western Conference Finals, which resulted in a 1-game suspension and derailed his Edmonton Oilers' chances of winning it all. And despite all of his baggage, he keeps getting opportunities. He'll remain one of the most hated, if not the most hated, NHLer until he calls it quits. LeBron James. The best player of his or her era in any given sport will naturally draw some hate because of their greatness. Some people just hate seeing the same players win over and over again. Such is life for LeBron James. He ditched his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers to win championships the easy way with the Miami Heat. Granted, LeBron saved his reputation and legacy by returning to Cleveland and leading them to a title in 2016. But then the fans had to deal with another decision in 2018, when the King opted to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron is one of the NBA's ultimate good guys off the court, but his non-stop winning and need to form all these different super teams has definitely rubbed some people the wrong way. Not that he cares. Cristiano Ronaldo. He's one of the most beloved athletes of all time, but also one of the most hated. Again, it largely stems from jealousy and the fact he keeps winning. Ronaldo is arguably the soccer GOAT. Well, let's be real. He's the textbook definition of a pretty boy. As awesome as it is for his fans, building your own museum is a pretty narcissistic move, wouldn't you agree? And who can forget him explaining that he's booed because he's rich, handsome, and brilliant? No need to be humble, I guess. Kyrie Irving. Irving is unquestionably one of the best players of his era, but he just can't help but enjoy stirring up the pot whenever he gets the chance. Like Nets teammate Kevin Durant, Irving can't seem to be happy with any team he goes to. He forced the Cavaliers to trade him in 2017 simply because he didn't want to be LeBron's sidekick anymore. So Irving got traded to the Celtics, but then got tired of the media and criticism there and left after 2 seasons. So then he and KD decided to team up in Brooklyn. Irving missed a large portion of the 2021-22 season because he wouldn't get vaccinated, which forced him to miss most of his home games. That's his choice, no doubt about it. But there's also no denying the fact his choice helped alienate him from much of his teammates and fan base. And then there's the silly talk about the earth being flat and all. Don't get us started. The guy just has to stir the pot every chance he gets. It's tiring, really. Trevor Bauer. Bauer isn't officially retired, but his baseball career is likely all but over after receiving a 324-game suspension from the MLB following overly gruesome and disturbing assault allegations. Long before the allegations, Bauer was among baseball's most hated players anyway. He threw childlike temper tantrums, always got into it with others on social media, and sometimes even harassed people who challenged his takes. Bauer has seriously hit the trifecta of being hated for what he's done on the field, as well as off the field and on social media. Way to cover all your bases, Trevor. Antonio Brown. Brown went from lovable underdog story to the NFL's ultimate villain, and it's pretty much his own doing. AB had future Hall of Famer written all over him during his tenure with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But within a span of 6 months, he was let go by 3 different teams: the Steelers, Oakland Raiders, and even the New England Patriots. Brown got another chance with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2020. He promised he was a changed man, blah blah blah, and he actually won a Super Bowl 55 ring with Tom Brady and company. But since this is the NFL, enough people cared to overlook his horrible off-the-field behavior. Finally, it all came crashing down, and Brown showed the world he would never change when he quit on the Bucs, threw his equipment into the stands, and stormed off the field shirtless in the middle of a 2021 road game against the New York Jets. Here's hoping he doesn't get another chance in the NFL. We've all had enough. Which other hated athletes should we have included on our list? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, we're on everything. Go subscribe, go follow. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes one click down below, and subscribe to TPS. We post videos every day new video. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
On my knee.